Hello, everyone. Welcome to our channel. I'm Mark.
And I'm Rob.
Today, we're going to talk about the frustrating loss by the Indiana Fever to the Las Vegas Aces, 86-75. And hey, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so and hit that notification bell when you do. If you like Caitlyn Clark, subscribe to our channel. If you like Rob, subscribe to our channel. If you like the Green Bay Packers, subscribe to our channel.
Don't subscribe.
All right, Rob. So last night was very frustrating. It's an ugly loss. Let's just be blunt about it. It was ugly basketball. I don't even think the Aces played that well either.
Right.
And they're the two-time defending champions with all their players back.
Mm-hmm.
So it was ugly. And Caitlyn Clark had the worst game since I could say the first nine games or so. It was the worst game she's played since then. Certainly the worst game since the break.
Yeah, team. It was weird that they played the Aces in the first, few games of the year, and that's how they looked. Like they played them again. Like wait a minute, didn't I just see this before early in the year? Same type of play.
They lost by 19 both times before this. Now they do get another shot at him Friday, and I don't think Caitlyn Clark is going to play this bad on Friday. So let's talk about Caitlyn Clark first, I guess, since that's what everybody wants to hear about. I don't think she played a good game at all. Your shot was way off. She was 1 for 10, and some of them were wide open shots, Rob, and she missed completely. They weren't even close. So, I mean, she had a couple nice passes and everything, and she made a couple nice drives to the basket. But other than that, she had 5 turnovers, 6 assists, only 3 rebounds, 1 for 10, 6 for 22 overall, 16 points, and 3 fouls. And she was a -8. The team was a -11 overall.
Yeah, she was definitely off her game. And that happens. You can't be on every game. I mean, she's been playing well past few games. She's been playing very well. And, you have that one game, you're off. And, well, like you said, what's good about that is that you forget about this game. You got a game coming up tomorrow. You say, okay. And she probably was in the gym, maybe even after the game, just shooting threes or just shooting. So.
Yeah, I mean, and her defense wasn't good either. I mean, if Chelsea Gray gets by you, Rob, then you're not playing good defense. Because Chelsea Gray's still hobbling, and she's not fast to begin with. So I didn't like that part about it. Now, in defense of Clark, she got the short end of the stick from the refs, which is not unusual. But lately it's been better. She got clutched and grabbed and held and pushed a fair amount. And then the minute she pushes off after they do that, she gets a foul call. The Aces got the benefit of the calls from the refs. There's no question in my mind. I'm not saying that's why they lost the game. Aaliyah Boston probably got the short end of the stick even more. She had 6 fouls against her, 0. I'll repeat that. 0 against A'ja Wilson. Now, I know A'ja Wilson's a great defender, and she knows how to play clean defense to a point, but she's physical too, and she doesn't block every shot cleanly and always play properly in the post. She had 0 calls. They even I saw a replay, Rob, where Boston had her elbow on A'ja Wilson, which is completely legal, wasn't even pushing into her, just was bracing her. And turnaround jumper, foul call. No body contact, no hand contact, nothing, just a foul call.
Yeah,
special whistle for A'ja Wilson.
Yeah, I saw that too. I mean, to go through a game being, in defense, part of it you're going to be called for fouls. But to go through a whole game and not get any fouls called on you, that's pretty amazing. I'm sorry, that's pretty amazing.
And if you want proof that the refs were against the Fever, all you got to do is watch the play where Chelsea Gray rams into Aaliyah Boston for her 5th foul, then does a layup. Boston gets called for the foul. All she does is stand there and put her arms up. They challenge the call. And shockingly, they didn't overturn it. Both the commentators said, that was foul. Rob said it was. He was a ref. I saw it. You saw it. We all saw that. That should have been a charge, first of all. Never mind about no foul call. It should have been a charge. And what's the benefit of replay? And what's the benefit of having that person in their command center looking at it too, who doesn't know what they're doing either, who favors the Aces also? Because that tells you right there who's being favored in this game. Well, the command center must be favoring too, because the command center gets an opinion too. This is the way I understand it works. There's a call. The ref that makes the call is not part of the discussion. The 2 other refs go over there. They look at the replay and they talk to the command center. That's 3 people. It's probably a 2-to-1 vote, I guess. If it's not 3-0, that means 2 out of 3 people had to say, no, that was a foul. 2 out of 3 people had to say that, Rob.
Mark, that was a foul. I mean, she had driven in.
That wasn't a foul, you meant.
I mean, it wasn't a foul. I'm sorry. That wasn't a foul because
it wasn't foul by Gray.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. There was a foul on Gray because she drove in and then she backed into her. She backed into Boston. She backed into her and initiated the contact. Boston was just standing there, and then they called the foul on Boston. I'm like, no, that's an offensive foul on Gray. Right. And then it was so obvious.
Right. And when Clark got off to a slow start this year, and we've said this before, part of it was because she had the refs against her. When you're allowing physicality against you and you're not allowed physicality against them, you're at a big disadvantage to the other player and the other team. And that's what happened to Clark a lot in the first 9 or 10 games. Now, it's eased up a little bit since then, but still, she never gets the benefit of the calls, Rob. I've yet to watch a game in 37 games where I said, oh, yeah, Clark really got away with crap that game. They really favored Caitlyn Clark. And I'm going to tell you, I watched 100 of her college games or close to it. And I never once complained about the refs saying Caitlyn Clark, was getting the short and the stick, except for the first half of the first 2 games in the NCAA tournament this year where they were clutching, holding, and grabbing her. And they didn't call any fouls against the defenders, but they did in the second half. That's the only time I complain. So it's not like I'm always complaining that Clark's on the short and the stick. No, not until I get in the WNBA that I see such unfavoritism towards her, Rob.
Well, with her though, she's got to realize this happened in college, and now it's happening in WNBA.
Well, it didn't happen in college, Rob, except for the first half of those 2 games they're talking about. She got fair refs in the college.
But what I'm saying is that she's got to learn to already know, like I said, she's not going to get the calls. So I see her get very frustrated. Like yesterday, she drove into the basket for a layup. She kind of missed the layup, but she missed the layup because she got fouled, and they didn't call it. And she immediately but she's got. I mean, yeah, like I said in other videos, you got to keep playing. You're not going to get the call, so that's just your mindset. Okay, well, he's not going to call it, and by you, that's going to get you off your game.
No, Rob, and I don't have first of all, this is the second time in 3 games they played against a playoff team that they might meet in the playoffs. They didn't look good, the team overall. Forget the refs for a second. And they're going to have to play better against these other teams. They got to beat them. They can't just win 1 game, Rob. They got to win 2 out of 3 the first round, and they do have to win 3 out of 5. So they got to beat these teams a number of times to get by. And that means they have to play well, and they're not playing well against the better teams right now.
Yeah, Mark, they're not an elite team. They can't afford to get behind and play kind of blasé basketball. They're not that talented yet. They're not there yet compared to the other teams they're going to be facing. So they have to not every game must play like a perfect game to win the game against a team that's much better talent, has better players.
And better coaches.
Yeah, I was going to say, lift up and better coaches. Exactly.
We'll get to that. In fact, we can talk about that right now.
Right.
The game started out good for them, and they were up like 36 seconds in. They were up. And guess what? Becky Hammond, even though she's a crybaby, was a good coach. She called a timeout immediately within 30 seconds in the game. It would have taken 3.5 hours before sides would have called the timeout. Literally. So that's what good coaches do. My team wasn't playing defense. They weren't getting back on transition. I called timeout and said, wake up. That's probably what she said. Guess what? They clamped down. They slowed the game down. Of course, Christy Sides probably told them to slow the game down too. But anyways, you saw there was a transition play where Hall was open in the corner. Guess what? The coach didn't called timeout. Afterwards, they went on a 30-14 run. Someone figured out afterwards, the Aces in their favor. No timeouts during any of those runs going on. No timeouts in the third quarter after they came back either. They got within 4. Hammond called a timeout right away, Rob. Right away, she called a timeout.
Yeah, just the difference in coaching. I mean, you could see that, Mark. It's
I
very
asked you this the other day. Wasn't knowing when to call a timeout one of the easiest jobs you had as a coach to figure out? You learned it pretty quickly. I was the captain of an ultimate frisbee team, and we didn't have coaches. And that was one of the easiest things to do is to figure out when to call a timeout. You can just feel momentum as an athlete. You can just feel it. You can feel the sloppiness. You can feel the play. You got to get a break.
Right. As a coach, I mean, watching her coach drives me crazy. I mean, not even when they were coming back, there's a series where both teams were just very sloppy, going up and down the court. Nobody was scoring, missed shots. And I would have called timeout just in that series. I'm like, okay, timeout. And let's get this together, guys. Let's get this together. Move the ball a little bit more, and play better defense. But just to break that, it was horrible basketball on both sides. I'm like, and he misses a shot, and there's a layup missed, and there's a third pass, a turnover. I'm like, okay, I'm going to call timeout and let's see if we can get this together here.
And then she puts in Wallace, who hasn't played in about a year and a half, and Samuelson at the same time, along with the Smiths. Those three together, the court. Why? You haven't played her in a year and a half. Someone said that she said in the pregame press conference she wanted to play some of the other players to get them ready for the playoffs. Now you want to get them ready?
No.
Now that they're cold and they've lost all their confidence because you wouldn't even play them 6 minutes. Like, I've defended Wallace in the sense that I don't think she's a good player. I don't think she should start, but she's probably good enough to get 6 minutes. And if you're going to run, which they didn't do enough of yesterday, again, then you give someone a break and you let her play for 6 minutes. If she's good enough to start, she's good enough for 6 minutes, you'd think, right? But she's not. She looked awful yesterday, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, that move had everybody who were watching the game we were all just yelling and screaming like, "What are you doing? Why do you have these players in here? That's it. Fire her. Get her out. She's throwing away the game. She's got money on the game." I mean, that's what it seemed like. Like I said, now is the time you want to experiment and do this, put these players in. You could have done that in the games we had, that were kind of a blowout. Give them a few minutes, but no. I mean, my goal. I'm trying to win. I like to win. I'm not experimenting. Sorry, and I'm playing the Aces. I like to win.
I mean, despite what Cheryl Swoops thinks, who gave Katie Lou Samuelson credit for Indiana Fever, playing, she's not a good player, and she's playing even worse than she was before. Right? She's lost her confidence. Something's wrong with her. It looks like she lost weight. Her game, she's lost for the season. Wallace is lost for the season. Now she's lost her confidence. She tried to prove herself to be aggressive. She played aggressive defense. At least I'll give her that. Samuelson doesn't seem to play as good as defense as before. She doesn't seem to be running the court as well. She can't hit a shot. I think she's hit one shot since the break.
Yeah.
3 at the other gate. Those players aren't going to help them in the playoffs. They're just not. Those two players aren't. Not anymore.
And that's going to be a problem. Like I said, in the playoffs, you only have like maybe 5 or 6 players. That's not going to do it in a playoff if you're trying to win a championship or try to even win a game in the playoffs. That's not going to do it.
They only have 5 good players.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, 5 or 6 players. That's it.
6 players. I mean, Smith's a pretty good player. She's just very inconsistent. They have 6 good players, Rob. That's it. Yeah, and Berger may be a good player. I don't know. She never plays her, so who knows?
And Saxton, I guess.
I know. Just like Taylor, I don't know. Didn't play her and waived her. Who knows?
How come she didn't put Saxton in there?
I don't know. Why not? Experiment. Got to get her ready for the playoffs. Well, Dantas didn't look good either, but she only played a few minutes. But Sides, I don't know. She wants to go into the post, Rob, against Asia Wilson, which is stupid because Leah Boston, she's a good young talent and all that. She doesn't have many post moves, and they're not that great to begin with because her footwork needs help.
Yeah,
she's not going to beat Asia Wilson in the post. So that's stupid in this game. They want to do more fast-paced transition than they normally do because they got the best defender in the league in the post. And Smith has no post moves. She's got a nice spin move and everything, but she has no post moves. So they don't have the personnel to do what she wants to do.
Yeah, to get the ball inside. Get the ball inside to do what? And then when she can't even catch. Well, and the worst thing is that she can't catch the ball. She has no hands.
I know.
So when they get the ball to the post, she can't even catch it.
So they were lucky that Asia Wilson had an off game. She averages like 1.5 points per shot. She averaged less than 1 in this particular game. Yeah, 28 shots and 27 points. She had just less than 1, and she averages 1.5. She didn't have a good game because she missed a bunch of layups. But she was hitting from the free throw line, her jump shot, and she was wide open on half of them, Rob.
Yeah.
What is the best player in the league, and she's wide open at her favorite spot, apparently, from top right by the free throw line. She's having this jumper, and nobody. She wasn't open when Temi was in there, but she was open anytime Temi wasn't in there by the free throw line. So what is going on with the defense? What kind of defense is that?
And that's her spot, Mark. As a player, you have a spot where you know you're going to make every shot. I did. Mine was on the right-hand side, right and left-hand side of the free throw line. And I used to tell people when I made it, that's my spot. That's my spot. I would score like, that's my spot.
Especially when there's no defense on you.
Right, exactly. Yeah, even more.
Because when Temi was in there, her shot percentage went down. And that's another thing. Temi gets in. Now, she didn't have a great game. Third quarter, like Smith plays the whole third quarter, and she didn't put Temi in again enough. And she needed Temi in there for the defense because Wilson scored some more points. She needed to be in there. And give people breaks, too.
Yeah, Wilson had cooled off. She started off hot and had 10 points the first quarter. And then she cooled off. But then she came out in the second half and got hot because she was wide open.
She cooled off. Temi came in, Rob.
I'm saying that.
She wasn't getting the open shots at the free throw line anymore.
Right, because Temi was up on her, not playing off of her. I'm like, what are you doing?
So, I mean, neither player looked like the MVP. Actually, the best person on the court was Mitchell. And it looked like she wanted to win. I'm not sure everybody else was playing as hard. I mean, Boston had a tough chore, and the refs were against her, and she got in foul trouble. But Mitchell played pretty well, Rob. She had, let's see, I'll get her score. She was 9 for 19, 4 for 7 from threes. She had 24 points.
Yeah, she had one of those. She had one of those what we call a sneaky 24 because you wouldn't even notice like, oh wait, what? She scored 24 points? Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, she only had 1 rebound and 1 assist, but scoring wise, she was good. Jackie Young played good defense on Clark, but I didn't think Plum and Jackie Young played that well. They made some baskets. They didn't shoot poorly, but what Jackie Young did from the 3-point line, she was 0 for 3. But they didn't really stand out and make big plays.
No.
And Gray played better than them at times. Gray made some plays, so she got the benefit of call, obviously.
But what happened is that the Fever, their 3-point shooting was horrible. They shot 7. What did they shoot? 7 for 26.
Right, 26%. And the Aces shot 45% from threes. Why, Rob? Because they were wide open on some of their threes.
Yeah.
Which is, again, their biggest weakness as a team is allowing open 3-point shots.
Yeah.
And the Aces have pretty good depth. I mean, because Clark came off the bench and Hayes, and they played well. They were 4 for 6 and 3 for 4 for threes.
Mm-hmm.
They have more depth in the Fever, obviously, and that'll be a problem if they play.
Yeah, but I don't know why. I mean, that's going to be a thing that's going to hurt the Fever also in the playoffs is that they don't defend the 3 very well, and it's been showing the whole year. I don't know why you can't adjust to that by just having your players come out, not just wave at them when they're at the 3-point line. Don't just wave at them like that's not gonna do anything.
Right. Well, Smith's effort on defense and physicality have to improve. She's got to deny people in the post. She's got to play better defense, Rob, get closer on her person. Don't be afraid of contact because their offensive game can be good at times. Mm-hmm. And she got some rebounds. She got 6 rebounds. She was 3 for 6. She had 9 points. She didn't play a poor game, but her defense was poor again. She did get 2 blocks and a steal, but I'm talking about like not getting on her person. Just not rotating properly, not being close to the person when she's supposed to be there and she gets shots off.
Yeah, and Boston, poor Boston, she didn't have a chance to get going. She got in foul trouble, so.
Nah, she had a tough matchup when the refs were against her. She did get 10 rebounds, only 6 points. She was 3 for 10. Yeah, but it's tough, Rob. It's tough when you're getting all the calls are going the other way. Yeah, Hall played well, but she always seems to be playing well. But she even hit a 3. She was 1 for 2, but she didn't get enough shots. She created her own shots for once, Rob. I was impressed with that.
Uh-huh.
But they didn't give her enough open shots because they were doing that half-court offense crap instead of running and doing up-tempo.
Yeah, well, did you see that one time when they did do a half-court offense when Mitchell was in there and they did the back door? That's what they got to do. The team's coming out and just go back door. So easy. Someone's overplaying you, go to the basket.
Yeah, I don't understand why Fig Bentley didn't play more. I mean, she was 3 for 3 in her field goals, and she actually got 7 rebounds in just 17 minutes. So why wasn't she playing more? She did a few other. She had 3 turnovers. That was the problem, Rob. That was a bad part of her game. She had 3 turnovers.
Yeah, she was turning the ball over. The whole team was turning the ball over. Really, it was really ugly.
Turnover. Well, they had 14, and the Aces only had 8 turnovers, Rob.
Yeah. Only 8. So
Yeah.
there it is right there. And the turnovers, I mean, you're going to have turnovers in the game, but when they're, I try not to call I try to call my players stupid. I don't call them stupid. I go, well, that was a stupid pass. And I would tell them I'm not saying you're stupid, but that pass was stupid. Why are you passing it when the person's right in front of them?
Right. And the Fever were called for 19 fouls, and the Aces were only called for 14. But the Aces committed more fouls, in my opinion. They were more physical. They did more clutching, grabbing, holding, and pushing, and committed more fouls. Yet they got 5 fewer fouls called against them, Rob.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, that's the way. But Mark, like I said, this is every game for the Fever is a learning game. But you can, they're not at that level yet. And it's good to play hard. That's all you can do is play hard. I mean, I
don't think Caitlyn Clark looked like the MVP. I know some people think she should be MVP. I still maintain she's not there yet. I don't think she's the best player in the league yet. I think she will be next year. I think third, no lower than fourth for MVP voting, and I think she's a top 5 player in the league. But she's not the best player in the league, and she's not the MVP yet.
No, it's not.
And not because she played poorly this game. She's just not there yet.
Yeah.
Just look, Chelsea Gray got past her on defense. The best. You didn't see that happen to Asia Wilson, did you?
No.
Some person flew right by her.
So like I said, if this was a game to get the players ready for the playoffs, okay, that's fine, Coach Sides. But I want to win too. I want to win too. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not sticking 1, 2, 3 people who haven't played the game on the court at the same time. No, I'll put them in there for 2 or 3 minutes to give somebody a spell, a rest, but not put in. I was like, what? Everybody, we're like, what are you doing? Are you just throwing the game away now? That's it? The game's over?
I'm so confused by how she does substitution, how she determines who's going to play or not, Rob. Because how do you start somebody and then play them 0 minutes for like 20 games straight?
Yeah.
And then expect them to play well, and you put her in. And why even put her in at this point? You might as well just sit her out for the year if you're not going to put her in for 20 straight games. If you had just gone from 25 minutes to 6, at least she'd still be active and she'd be fresh. She wouldn't be out of practice and rusty. And why do that? And if she just figured out the right starting lineup in the beginning of the year, which I can't imagine Hall doesn't show this great defense in practice, Rob, and she showed it every time she went in the first 10 games, even 20 games. She couldn't figure out Hall was better than Wallace. I'm flabbergasted by that. Or Samuelson. She's better than Samuelson if you want it, because she can play small forward and Samuelson. Either way, those players, I don't know.
The thing is, Mark, with being a bench player, I've been a bench player. I like coming off the bench, actually. I started, but I like coming off the bench. When you're coming into the game, no matter how many minutes, you see what you have to do. You don't just walk on the court and just you say, okay, geez, maybe I need to get some rebounds, or maybe I need to play defense, or maybe I need to get a couple of shots to get the team going. So when you come in off the bench, you have to determine to yourself, like, okay, what can I do to help the team? How can I make an impact in the game? Not just standing out there on the court, waving your hand, whatever, doing anything. Play some defense, make a defensive play, a couple of stops, and that might get the team going. And you go to the bench, and your team starts rolling. You're like, oh, okay, I did my job.
Right, but right now, because of how she did it, she couldn't figure out who to start to begin with. Now she's got it so that the rotation's no good. You got Samuelson, who's completely lost her confidence. You got Wallace, who's lost her confidence, is rusty. And so you're down to 6 players. Wheeler hit a couple shots. She was 2 for 3. She didn't do anything dumb. She was in there, but she didn't play in the second half. So it wasn't her fault. Wheeler didn't play poorly. She didn't do anything dumb. So I got to give her credit. So, but, she could have figured out this from the very beginning. And again, I maintain that, Clark and Mitchell should be playing 34 minutes instead of like 38 and 40 minutes, so that they can run their offense more up tempo and that they're not tired and their legs aren't tired, so they don't miss 3-point shots.
Right. Yeah. Because right now they're not hitting the 3-point shots.
I'm not making excuses for the 1 for 10 for Clark, but when you're playing, she did get a break in the first quarter. There must have been something wrong. I heard she went in the locker room. It's tiring when the other team is always giving you a lot of attention. And when the other team is very physical with you and you're not getting the calls. So then Clark gets tired and then she's off on her 3-point shots because some of those were short.
Right.
But, that's why you don't play her 40 minutes. Because
exactly.
Because it's so the whole offense is dependent on her. And that takes energy. So, that's the unfortunate part of her not playing Berger all year or her not playing Wallace for 6 minutes after she benched her is you need to do that. 34 minutes for Mitchell and Clark and then 6 minutes for Wheeler and someone else. That's all.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. They have, like I said, they have another game coming up tomorrow.
If you like this video, hit the like button. You haven't subscribed yet. What are you waiting for? If you like Caitlyn Clark, if you think she'll play better on Friday, subscribe to her channel. If you think the Phoenix will play better on Friday, subscribe to the channel. Hey, they got 2 games. They need to beat them, though, Rob, because they're the only team they haven't beaten yet. And if they split here, I think it's pretty good. So if they win Friday night, we'll forgive you for this crappy game. But it was an ugly game by both teams. Let's be honest about that.
Oh, yeah.
So anyways, if you want to donate to this channel. I forgot about our live show. Our live show is every Monday from 6 to 8 Eastern time, except for major holidays. Join us for that. You can call in for that and discuss all this. If you want to donate to this channel, there's super chats and super thanks down below. There's also a link to PayPal, and we'll see you in the next video.
Peace out.